In Dallas, we got the news that we've been expecting. Dak Prescott's hamstring injury, which he said after the game when it happened, it was a pull that he'd never felt before. Well, it's bad enough that he needs surgery. Jerry Jones said that on 105.3 The Fan this morning. Dak Prescott is out for the season. We kind of expected it, or we expected at a minimum he'd be back at a time when it doesn't really matter. They're 3-6. They're fading fast. They're 0-4 at home. They've been blown out every home game this year. Cooper Rush is the quarterback. He was 5-1 as a starter until the Eagles game. Now he's 5-2. They brought Trey Lance in. They're sticking with Cooper Rush. Will Grier is back on the practice squad. There aren't a lot of options out there. What can you really do? And if they were closer to contending, maybe this is the occasion to bring in Ryan Tannehill, who's been available and is waiting for the right opportunity, which may or may not arise. I don't think it matters for the Cowboys at this point. This is about checking the boxes, finishing the season, and starting over again in 2025, presumably with a new head coach and hopefully with better players beyond the stars. They're very top-heavy with their star contracts, and they're going to be even more top-heavy with Micah Parsons if they keep him. And I'm not saying they won't. I'm not saying they shouldn't. But until they sign him to a long-term deal, there's always a possibility they're going to flip him for a bunch of draft picks, Herschel Walker style, that would be the heart and soul of building that team from the bottom up. Again, I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they should. And I wasn't even thinking about mentioning that as I started down this path. It just kind of occurred to me. There is a way. If you want to have a bunch of young, cheap players to balance out the fact that you've got some expensive, older players, trading Micah Parsons and getting maximum value for him, the same way they got maximum value for Herschel Walker 35 years ago, that may be a way to do it. Obviously, it can't happen this year. It would have to happen in the offseason. But those are just some of the things that will go into this hopper as we try to figure out what is best for the Cowboys going forward. And when they have a new coach, not if, but when they have a new coach next year, I'd say that coach will have some influence over what happens with Parsons, what happens at other key positions. The problem is, and this happens all the time, new coach wants his own quarterback. Well, new coach in Dallas is going to be stuck with Dak Prescott because of his contract. So you need to find a coach who truthfully is excited about working with Dak Prescott and isn't just saying that to become head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So the bottom line is they got a mess. And it's going to get messier to the point where they got a few big platform games coming up later this year that might be flex. They've got the Monday night game against the Bengals, although because the Bengals are playoff contenders and because they're doing that Simpsons alternate broadcast, which I assume is already being constructed technologically with the Bengals and the Cowboys being the teams, I doubt that gets flexed out. But you've got a game later in December against the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football. There's a late afternoon Eagles game, Week 17, 4:25 Eastern, the big late afternoon window. That could be moved out. The Cowboys are not living up to what we've seen in the regular season the past 3 years, and that's an understatement. 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. Right now, 3-6. And who knows how bad this is going to be, and who knows how long it's going to take to turn this thing around. Not just to get to the point where maybe they can contend to finally get back to the NFC Championship, but just where they can start to reclaim the interest, the audience, the hype, the money, the things that I think Jerry Jones has been so adamant about, even though he won't admit it. He says he wants to win. I think he wants the Cowboys to win at the box office, at the ratings meter, at all these other ways that indicate interest and excitement and reasons to tune in and watch the Cowboys. Right now, with no Dak Prescott for the rest of the year and Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, and Will Grier as the options, there aren't many reasons to tune in and watch the Cowboys. Thank you for tuning in to watch some of what we have to say about the things happening in the National Football League. I'll see you Wednesday morning with Michael Hawley for an all-new edition of PFT Live. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.